This reflection is inspired by Buddhist teachings, shared at the temple, and it's offered for lay people for ordinary life. The Buddha and heartbreak. Heartbreak is one of the most universal human experiences. It doesn't care how disciplined you are. It doesn't care how spiritual you are. It doesn't care how strong or self-contained you think you've become. When heartbreak arrives, it cuts straight through identity. The Buddha did not avoid this subject. He spoke about it constantly, just not in romantic language. In Buddhism, heartbreak is not treated as a personal failure. It is treated as dukkha in one of its clearest forms. Heartbreak hurts because something we were attached to has changed, ended, or become unavailable. Not just a person, a future, a role, a sense of belonging, a version of ourselves that existed inside the relationship. What breaks is not only the bond. What breaks is the structure the mind was leaning on. One of the most painful aspects of heartbreak is that the mind keeps returning. It replays moments. It imagines different outcomes. It checks whether something could be repaired, recovered, or explained. This is not weakness. From a Buddhist point of view, this is attachment trying to re-establish continuity. The mind does not like rupture. The Buddha taught that attachment is not only about desire, it is about dependence. The mind quietly depends on emotional regulation coming from outside, a sense of being chosen, a feeling of orientation and meaning. When that external reference disappears, the mind panics. That panic is heartbreak. People often say heartbreak is about love. Buddhism would say heartbreak is about clinging. Not clinging as a moral flaw, but clinging as a natural habit of mind. The mind says, this mattered, this stabilized me, this gave me a sense of self. When it ends, the mind feels as though the ground has disappeared. One of the hardest parts of heartbreak is comparison. The mind compares before and after, connection and absence, intimacy and isolation, meaning and emptiness. This comparison intensifies dukkha. The Buddha warned that constantly comparing present pain to past pleasure keeps suffering alive. Not because memory is bad, but because memory becomes fuel. Another painful element of heartbreak is the wish for fairness. The mind asks, why did this end? Why did I invest so much? Why did it feel so real if it wasn't meant to last? Buddhism does not offer comforting answers here. It offers clarity. It says, conditions arise, conditions change. Nothing that arises under conditions is guaranteed to remain. This is not cruelty, it is honesty. The Buddha never taught that love is wrong. He taught that confusing love with permanence leads to suffering. Heartbreak exposes that confusion. It reveals how much stability we placed in something that was by nature impermanent. There is a teaching where the Buddha compares attachment to holding a burning coal, not because attachment is sinful, but because it only hurts the one who is holding it. Heartbreak is often the moment we realize we've been holding tightly. Letting go feels impossible at first, because the coal always provided warmth. One of the most radical Buddhist insights about heartbreak is this: the pain is not a sign that something went wrong. It is a sign that attachment did exactly what attachment does. Seeing this clearly removes shame. You're not broken because you loved. You're not foolish because you attached. You're human. The Buddha did not encourage suppressing grief. He encouraged knowing it directly, feeling the heaviness in the chest, the tightness in the throat, the fatigue, the restlessness, not analyzing it away, not spiritualizing it, just knowing this is how dukkha feels. That knowing is already a form of freedom. A common mistake after heartbreak is trying to replace what was lost, replacing the person, replacing the feeling, replacing the validation. Buddhism would say this often recreates the same attachment under a new form. The work is not replacement. The work is seeing what the mind was leaning on. Heartbreak often reveals unexamined expectations. Expectations about being chosen, being prioritized, being secure, being held emotionally. When those expectations are seen clearly, something important happens. The pain doesn't vanish, but it stops arguing with reality. That argument is what prolongs suffering. The Buddha taught that liberation does not mean never being hurt. It means not being enslaved by pain. Heartbreak can either tighten identity or dissolve it. It depends on whether suffering is resisted or understood. There is a quiet dignity in heartbreak when it is met with awareness, not drama, not collapse, not suppression, just the honest recognition: this hurts, this mattered, this is impermanent. This recognition is not cold, it is stabilizing. The Buddha taught that everything we love will change, not to make us cynical, but to invite us into a non-clinging love. Love without ownership, connection without grasping, care without dependence. Heartbreak is often the doorway into that understanding. When the mind stops chasing explanations, something softens. The ache remains, but the panic fades. Grief becomes quieter, less personal, less accusing. This is not indifference. It is equanimity beginning to form. The Buddha did not promise that heartbreak would disappear quickly. He promised that understanding reduces suffering. Understanding impermanence, understanding attachment, understanding the mind's habits. This is not consolation, it is liberation. Heartbreak, from a Buddhist perspective, is not the end of the path. It is often where the path becomes real. When a person experiences heartbreak, they can use it for their transformation, or they can descend into bitterness. From the Buddhist perspective, it is the perfect moment for your ultimate transformation. Because when what you leaned on falls away, you finally learn how to stand. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this reflection. Please subscribe for more wisdom.